Hello YouTube, it is Motorbike Mike, and today we are going over blue collar bobber kit for the Suzuki C50 and Volusia. I had to practice that a few times. Anyways, so let's start off with the front. Here we have the front fender. I got it in a glossy, I didn't get it in a glossy black, I had it painted later in glossy black. The fenders can come in either a plain naked aluminum, or you can actually have them primed for you. I opted with having it primed because I figured it's a little bit cheaper that way, and then instead of having whoever's painting it prime it and bill me for that. So here we have the front fender. It's a little bit longer in the back than the front. You can kind of see where the holes are. It's still very even and symmetrical in its contour, but overall really clean design. I like how it looks. I think it'll look good on a white wall tire. And also we have the mounting hardware for it, all the screws and whatnot, the mounting brackets. They have two slots in the mounting brackets, so you can have the height of the fender at two different positions depending on the size of your tire or however you want to mount it. So let's move on to the next piece. Alright, so now what we have in front of us is the seat assembly, we could say. First, let's start off with the seat. It's nice. I believe I got opted for the 15-inch seat. I think there's a 13-inch option as well. I got it in the gray, just straight line stitching. I believe it also comes black, brown. You can have different patterns on the seat, I believe, if my memory serves me well. Different patterns of stitching, different colors. These little dots did not come. It was actually blemish free. These are actually from my cats. One just decided to claw the seat, and I still have both cats, so. Anyways, here are the springs. So these I got the stiff springs. I don't think you can tell they're stiff by just looking at them, but I opted for the stiffer springs. They have different weight specifications for the springs, so just accordingly. Hardware for the seat, and though this is wrapped in plastic, this is the front mount that the seat hooks into. You know, the pivot in the front and that springs in the back onto this plate that I'll show you right quick. So this plate is gonna effectively be your new battery cover. So as you know, if you have a C50 or a Volusia, the seat covers the battery entirely. With this kit, that plate will sit on top of the battery. You'll have to trim the back of your battery box, so that remove the plastic piece, trim the back off a little bit to get this all to fit. And the seat sits on the springs. Of course, you know what a spring seat looks like, to cushion the ride. Of course, the Suzuki Volusia, I have a Volusia, so I'm just gonna call it Volusia. It's basically, you know, like a soft tail kind of style. It looks like a hardtail, but there's a spring on the inside. So yeah, it's gonna be a really soft ride. It's common to tighten the preload on the bike if you run into issues where the rear fender actually bumps into the rear of the seat, because you now have multiple springs working. Hopefully it'll make for a pretty nice ride. We'll just see how it turns out when I actually put it together, which I'm supposed to be doing today. Okay, and so here we have the wiring. I opted for this specific style of rear tail light. And then now here's the bag of all the cables, including shrink wrap, bund connectors on all the wiring, and also photograph instructions on how to do it. Side note, if you haven't taken apart your C50 or your Volusia yet, keep the rear wiring harness, you're going to need it. Now here are the side, so on the C50 and Volusias, they have these stupid like round cheek looking things. It's where the toolbox goes, and the other half on the other side is completely empty. If you take them apart, you can actually see the rear shock, and actually that's where you would adjust your preload if you wanted to do that. So these covered that. They remove them, they delete them, and they cover them. So you can see this is the hardware already installed. One side is just uses plastic bolts. They don't, you know, these don't hold anything, because on that side it has the bike uses plastic grommets that just fit in, and on the side with the old tool bag or toolbox actually has screws for that portion, and also you have extra hardware for that. Alright folks, we're at the rear fender. So there's a lot of pieces here, a lot going on. We'll start off with the mounting bracket. This mounting bracket requires you to trim up your battery box a little bit on the end. I'll go over that in the installation video later. But this is basically that allows You need to mount the front of the rear fender right underneath the seat in a single bolt. It has a single bolt hole on one side and the two on the back for the struts. The two bolts are for the one side, the one bolt's for the other. Can't remember which one is which at the moment, but on one side you do have this bracket that mounts on the spacer, the wheel spacer on the pipe side of the axle. And this is a bolt that is replaced the OEM one on the I guess the brake, the shift side of the bike, to mount the new strut for the rear fender. Here we have braces that go underneath the fender. You do have to drill holes for these. Also, now that I'm saying that, don't paint your rear fender until you have the holes drilled. You don't want drilling the holes to mess up your paint. I didn't watch their installation video after I purchased the item. I just opened the box immediately and got the items painted right away because I really wanted to move on the project, but now I know. So for you guys, drill the holes, basically loosely install all the components for the braces at the bottom, the mounting bracket, and the mounts for the license plates. You want to do all of that before you get the item painted, because then you're just gonna mess up your paint underneath those mounting points. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. We'll see how it turns out when I actually do an installation video about it, but I think it'll be okay. The rear fender and the front fender are both made of aluminum, so I'm not really worried about them rusting to dust, so I think it'll be okay. Oh, also another piece is this little spine looking thing. This is actually a channel that your new wiring is going to go in underneath the rear fender to protect it from, dirt and whatever the rear tire kicks up. So that's nice. I didn't know what it was initially, but luckily their video showed me. So I think it'll be okay. It looks pretty neat. I'm actually really excited. I am very excited to install this. Actually, I'm doing that tomorrow, or I should say later today, because it's like 2 in the morning right now. I don't sleep. But yeah, thanks. This is everything that was included in my kit. What I had purchased overall was the front fender. The seat, I got it in the gray option that you saw previously. It comes in you can order in different sizes. You can get the springs in different tensions, and I think there's different colors you can get the seat in as well. As you see, I got the rear fender. I opted for the mounting hardware for the center mount license plate. I think that that symmetrical center mount look is pretty cool, but they also have a side, the shift side mounting hardware, and also like a horizontal mounting bracket and a vertical mounting bracket for whatever you want to do with your own C50 or Volusia variant. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. If you got anything to say, put it down in the comments. Thanks.